The next game on our list is the New York Giants taking down the Jacksonville Jaguars 23-17. The Giants moving to 6-1 on the season. What a start for the G-men here. Aaron, what did you see from the Giants in this victory against the Jags?
I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
What did you see from the Giants in their victory against the Jags?
I saw a team that was a little bit more ready for the moment than the Jaguars. I thought the experience of Daniel Jones, which sounds crazy, but the experience of Daniel Jones is actually what won them this game. Um, I try to tell people like how much experience matters in the NFL and being in situation and in moments and understanding what to do in those moments matters. And we saw that Jacksonville once again had a lead late and just couldn't hold it. But we again, you mentioned this earlier. We told you this was going to happen. Um, and I know he loves his name said on this show, so I'll say it, Bailey. Yes, we got an argument on Facebook. Yes, you keep telling me Peterson's a fraud. You sound like an absolute.
Can we not?
Idiot.
Hold on.
Let me do it. Let me do it.
I want to get into the. I want. Okay, go right.
We argued for an hour about this yesterday. It's absolutely idiotic for somebody to come on here in Game 7 for a team that went through exactly what Jacksonville went through last year with Urban Meyer and not even showing up for games, to come on here after 7 weeks, the Jaguars being in every game, winning some of those games, blowing out teams that are now 4-3 and 5-2, and saying that he's a fraud, that Doug Peterson's a fraud. Are there flaws in his scheme? Absolutely. And the flaws I pointed out are directly pointed to the franchise quarterback that Trevor Lawrence has to become. He loves to be aggressive. That is his mentality. If you start trying to pick and choose when you want your coach to be aggressive, then you are just being an idiotic fan. Doug Peterson is the best thing that's happened to the Jaguars since I don't know when. Like literally.
Doug Marrone took us to the playoffs in 2017.
He is the right guy for the job. The difference is the inexperience of the players on the field. 4th down and short. Your job is to get a first down. It's not your coach's job to try to protect you and say, hey, we're going to kick field goals. Because you know what happens when you kick field goals? You lose. You lose when you kick field goals. Ask the 49ers what happened to them yesterday when they were up 13-0 or 16-0 over Kansas City, because every time they got in the red zone, they kicked field goals. In the NFL, you have to score touchdowns and kick field goals late to win it. The fact of the matter is, they needed to score touchdowns. He knew that. He didn't want to give the defense an opportunity to be back on the field, so he went for it on 4th down sometime. Guess what? That's what you pay Trevor Lawrence to do, is to get those downs and to get first downs. So I'm tired of hearing it. I'm not going to address it again. This is the last time I'm going to say it. For every Jaguars fan or Bengals fan or Chargers fan who keeps getting on these damn coaches for going for it on 4th downs and saying, oh, I don't know if they're going to be so aggressive, kick a field goal. You're also the same fan that complains about your field goal kicker when they miss the damn kicks. Stop complaining. This is why I call fans stupid, because they're stupid. They're dumb. They don't understand the game of football. All they want to see at the end of the game is whether we win or we lost. And when you lose, they have all these reasons why. It's the coach, it's the quarterback. You don't know why. You just know you're a fan and you're upset that you lost. So the fact of the matter is you don't know if Doug Peterson's a good coach because you don't know football. And I'm saying it, Bailey. I'm calling you out because you don't know football. He is a great Super Bowl winning coach. Despite what you feel and your emotions, and usually I get on video about this, take your damn emotion out of it as a fan and look at the game of football. Who wins championships? It's the guys that go for it. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl in Philly with the Philly special, with going for it on 4th down all the time. That's how he won. And we're going to now say, well, he should take field goals and be more conservative. And nah, stop it. I'm done. Your turn, Vinny. Get on. Go do what you got to do. I'm done.
I mean, you said it and summed it up really, really great there. And honestly, I'm very happy that I'm at a point in my life where I don't have to, like, I'm straying away from the fan side of things, because, and I know every fan base has this. Every fan base has this. The ridiculous fans that think, oh, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. We suck again. In the Jaguars case, people are saying we're worse than what we were with Urban Meyer. We're just like what we were last year, or just absolutely ridiculous things. And all fan bases have this, not just Jaguars fans, but everybody. And I don't want to just single out them, but as I am a Jaguars fan. Everyone is well aware of this on this show that I am a Jaguars fan. And I'm a part of fan groups on fan pages on Facebook. I'm a part of one Jaguars fan page, and I'm just seeing the nonsense that people are spewing about this team. And we talked about this at the beginning of the season, where the Jaguars are going to be. We said this on the show, but because they win 2 games against the Chargers and the Colts, they're like, oh, now the expectations are changing. Now the needle is moving. Now we're changing the narrative of what we thought this Jaguars team would be. But we're forgetting about where the real expectations of this team, because we won 2 games, because we beat the Chargers and we beat the Colts. Great. Let's remember where we're supposed to be with this team. Okay. The biggest concern out of all of this for me, if anything, is I am starting to get a little concerned about Trevor Lawrence. A little concerned. I'm not out on him. I'm not saying he's Ryan Leaf. I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback or he's a bust, because that's just absurd. But I'm seeing that from people, and it drives me absolutely bananas. And I'm like, okay, I'm very glad I have now gone away from the fan side of things, and I'm just a neutral person here. But in all seriousness, and to address this game, I'm not overly impressed with what I've seen from Trevor Lawrence. The things that I've wanted to see from him, I have not been able to see in this game. We talked about the pressure that he was going to face from this Wink Martindale defense, and he saw it. Lots of pressures, having to force him to make plays. He didn't get sacked a whole lot, but I want to see him. And correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe he doesn't have this. Maybe he doesn't have this ability in him as much as I think, but he's a mobile quarterback. He's not a mobile quarterback like Lamar, but we've seen Trevor Lawrence in the past be able to make plays with his legs and find lanes if nothing is available. I'm just not seeing that enough from him in this game. And I saw multiple times in this game against the Giants where I thought, okay, instead of especially on the last drive, on that game winning, on the final drive of the game where he got him down to the 1, we had the chance with Christian Kirk and he just didn't make it. But there were certain plays where I'm like, okay, instead of throwing an incompletion there or almost getting the ball intercepted and being saved by a few penalties, I thought he could have ran. I thought he could have made a little play with his leg. But again, I'm not the X's and O's guys on the show. I'm not going to say I know football better than the coaches or better than a first overall pick in Trevor Lawrence. But that's just what I'm seeing from this. And my biggest concern with the Jags, one last note before you go, I apologize. We can wrap this game up in a bow in a second. But the Jaguars here in this game, no turnovers. They have not forced a turnover in the last 3 games that we're talking about. Oh, they're losing these bad games. They had 9 takeaways in just their first 4 games. That's a big difference as well in this team, not being able to force those turnovers. Dumb penalties on defense, not forcing turnovers. That's my spiel on the Jags. The floor is yours, and then we can move on to our next game.
Yeah. So the thing about Trevor Lawrence is I wouldn't be concerned about stuff like that, especially about using his legs. Yeah, maybe he could use his legs more on the last drive. I disagree. I don't think you should be using your legs there. Number one, you have to understand they had no timeouts. Use your legs. The defense probably doesn't let you out of bounds. It takes longer for you as a quarterback to run. Then your offensive line has to go follow you. You have to get up, spike it. It's easier just to throw that incomplete pass and stop the clock. So there are times from a strategic standpoint you don't want him to take off, and that was one of them. But I do think I've said that before. I felt like maybe he should run a little bit more, but that could also be drawn up to where they don't want him to run. Maybe it's they might be preserving. I saw Tua do this last night, put his head down and go run and try to run somebody over. And I'm like, bro, you just came back from a damn near death experience. Why are you doing that? You're the franchise quarterback. Sometimes you have to understand that your value is being on the field, and developing Trevor Lawrence is so important. It's still year 1 under Doug Peterson. And the amount of leaps that I've seen is I mean, it's tremendous for me from what I saw last year.
Yeah.
The turnovers are way down. We're through
Exactly.
6 games now. He has four interceptions. His turnovers are way down, which is significant. He
Yeah.
looks more comfortable. He looks like he's starting to understand the
Yep.
offense. And let's remember, despite how much I thought Christian Kirk and Zay Jones, and I think they're helping him and they're weapons, he still doesn't have an alpha male receiver.
Yep.
It's not like he has some Jay Jettas out there or Tyreek Hill, or like he's got guys that are good that we think can
Yep.
make things happen, but he doesn't have an alpha male receiver. The offensive line has new pieces that are still kind of coming together. And you have a new coach and a new scheme. The biggest concern I have with the Jaguars is the timing of the penalties they get. It's not even that they get penalties. It's like comes at the worst times, and you're like, oh my
Yep.
God. And it costs you games. That I have always said this. Penalties are a direct result to coaching. I truly believe that. I think teams that are undisciplined have penalties. It's just what happens. But the undisciplinedness of Doug Peterson on those coaching mistakes as far as penalties, it's what he's always been. You knew you were getting that with him. Philly was
Yep.
one of the most penalized teams when he was there because he's a players guy. He likes to relate to his players. That's what he is. You know that. It's the same thing in Dallas with Mike McCarthy. When you make that hire, you understand that. The players ultimately have to be responsible for their actions. Trayvon Walker's roughing the passer penalties number of times. Yeah, holding penalties and inopportune signs, putting you behind the chains, keeping other teams on the field on third downs. Those are things that young teams do. Young teams, a veteran coach wants to instill something. Young players are dumb. They are stupid. Yes, football players are stupid. They do things they're not supposed to do. The block in the back when the play is already past them. It's a mental thing. When you get experience and you get veteran players, they don't make those mistakes. So let the team grow together as one. Now that you have a core, guys locked up under contract, talk to me 2 years from now and see where the Jaguars at. Then we can have the Doug Peterson conversation. Not after year one, after 7 games where they've already exceeded expectations. Like they're in every single game. They're battling. Yes, they're going to lose because they're inexperienced and young. The conversation is not to be had today about Doug Peterson or that job.
Yep. Yeah. And a bright spot on the Jag side, Travis Etienne, 14 carries, 114 yards, his first career rushing touchdown. And as all the Jaguars talk that we've had, there is still the other team in this, the Giants, 6-1 now, off to a great start to their season. Their 4-game winning streak is, their 4 games that they've won. They won 4 games last year alone, and now they're on a 4-game winning streak. Most wins in a season over the last 6 years. This team is on a great pace right now, finding ways to win. Comebacks. They were down. They found a way to win. Shout out Daniel Jones in this game as well.
9-1.
Yeah.
Giants are going to be 9-1.
Yeah, it's wild to think where the Giants are at right now, looking great and a deserved win for this team.